What's going on, guys? We're going to be looking at Empire's Border today in the Kanonen Jagdpanzer, and this is a pretty good game, not by numbers, but by excitement, right? That's how I'll put it. Sometimes the big numbers isn't what really makes you enjoy the game. It's the comebacks, it's those, pixel shots you get sometimes. It's the little things, right? So we're going to be on Empire's Border, and this map, like whenever I get this map as a TD, I'm like, this is going to suck. But sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and we're looking for shots here. What happens, at least in my opinion, on this side is you end up not being able to get a lot of shots, right? Because from here, like on this spawn, you have way better shots. I do turn and get one into the EBR here, but there's this little duel going on with the 13105 and stuff. There's nothing I can really do here. But from the other spawn, you have this area of trees and bushes where it's a lot easier to get shots at people over here and stuff. But over here, you really don't have that. If you sit here, this kind of blocks your path of shots. And if you sit here, you really have no really trees, foliage, I always say, that you can use. So I feel like it's kind of uneven for TDs. I mean, maybe I just don't play enough TDs and there's some hidden spot that I'm not aware of, but as far as I am aware, it's just not as easy really to get shots on this side as a TD. But I come here, I ended up getting 2 shots into the EBR, so we start off okay anyway. The Tiger ends up hitting me for 239. This vehicle has no armor, so any splash is going to do some damage. And now I'm sitting here, I'm watching the 50, and I'm saying, I think I ended up saying to the boar, like, come back. But at this point, it might be too late. I don't even know if he can get out of here. But I'm seeing that. And now I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to see if maybe I can help the Char with one more shot. And then I'm going to book it out of here, right? Because you can do that in the Kanonen. So I see Char's running like mad, and he's not going to try and get one more shot. So I'm going to dip as well. And I can see the boar's at 144 HP. What does this mean? We have another vehicle over here. You see this. Everyone knows this. Like, what's going to happen, guys, right? I will literally, I'm not going to leave it open-ended because I'm going to answer it. What's going to happen here is we're going to lose this entire area of the map because we're being overwhelmed here, we're being overwhelmed here, and yeah. So I'm going to turn and see if maybe I can get one more shot as the boar is coming back, because I can see he also has really good mobility, right? So he can kind of get out of here. But now I'm seeing like S1 is coming back. Like, we really have to try and get a different angle. So I'm going to come back over here. And then I think I get to a point where I'm like, I don't even think this is going to work. I think I need to get out of here too, because this breaks down so quickly. You see how like the 777 is coming in now, and the Rhino is right here. Like, sometimes it depends on how quickly the map breaks down. I end up actually with heat rounds. I think I got one of the Borisk, but it didn't pen yet. So we end up stopping him, but the shell goes right through him. So I need to run away. So I'm going to do that. And luckily, I have the support of the freaking FV4005, which is just, if there's any support that you would want from a TD, it's this big boy right here. So this guy ends up supporting me, and we're going to get back, and I'm going to knock down all these trees. And this is where, if this situation happens to you, that's why I'm specifically showing you guys this video. It's not like I'm bragging about the numbers, because the numbers were not that good. This is more for a strategic view to help you guys in TDs, light tanks. I do this in really any vehicle that has enough mobility to get back here. Is I come back here and I create this giant bush with these trees, and you can sit right here. And what's better to do? What's better to do before this happens is knocking down these buildings. However, I really didn't get the opportunity to do that because this push from their side happened so quickly that I wanted to get one shot into the boar and just run, because look, these guys are already here. But if you knock down all these buildings, it makes it a lot easier to get shots into these guys that are pressing, and even if you get this too. Because if you get this and no one is here, then you can move up to this bush and shoot people that are trying to cap like right here. Hopefully this makes sense to you, and you can see my mouse cursor and all, and that's making sense to you. So if it's not making sense to you, feel free to comment and I'll explain in further detail in the comment section. But that's how I'm putting it. And yeah, what ends up happening though is, because I didn't break these buildings, I actually use them to my advantage later on. So I get one into the TVP here. I have no idea how this hit his track, because felt like he was kind of down a little bit, but he gets annihilated by the FV 4005, the ship barn, and you know, that's all we needed to do was track him. I got 1150 assist for it. So 277 is capping out, or I'm sorry, 777 is capping out. I spot the 50 TP, and what needs to happen now is at this point, like I'm spotted, right? Actually, it was the boar that's here. But what needs to happen at this point is I'm trying to wait a few seconds for the FV 4005 to get another shell, because it's like a 30-something second reload for him, I think, even with like rammer and all this stuff. So I'm just going to take one from the boar. I realize that I can take one from him with the HP I have left, and I'm going to reset the cap so that the FE 4005 has enough reload time. However, the Char's here, and he's able to get one more into him as well. Now, I know the boar's still on reload, so I'm going to go ahead and take that shot. However, it wasn't needed. The Char gets him, and now the 50 is here. Now, watch the way I do this. I'm kind of using the walls, right? I'm using the walls. So I'm going to break the wall here. I'm going to shoot this guy. The walls you can shoot through, but not a building. It has to be, if there's, I want to say you can shoot through the walls, but even if there's one more break on the building, I don't think you can shoot through the building. So I guess that building is one break anyway. So I go behind the building. Now he has to burn a shell, right? This guy has to burn a shell to break the building, and I'm able to get one more shot into him. And now the FV just needs one more shot here. The 50 TP goes after the Char, or the 705, and FV comes out. He gets the last shot on this guy, and that's it. That's all we needed. Our team is now at the cap, and I said good game. And I just remember playing this game, and at the end of the replay, I'm saying I think we did what we needed to do, and we did. So that's all this is here, guys. It's just showing you kind of how you can defend the base, and luckily our team was able to kind of win this and go this way, and they were able to get on the cap over here. So that's all it took. We just needed a few resets, and this is how you can do it, though. I recommend, even though I ended up using this building to my advantage later on, I would recommend you knock all these buildings, because if we knocked all these buildings, then we probably wouldn't have had, even this one too. I think you can knock this one, or is it solid? No, I think you can knock all these buildings, but knock them all, and this way you can get the shots from here instead, usually, unless they go all the way back to here. But even then, you'll probably have shots as they come in. But if they go back to here, then you're going to have to move, right? Like, you won't have the right angle from here. But anyway, Empire's Border, guys, this is how you reset the cap if you are starting from the northwest spawn. So any questions, drop them below. I will answer them if you know what I said didn't make sense here. And we'll take a look at the emplates. So I think I have these open already. Here we go. Yeah, it was only 1855 damage, 1500 assist. We got a little more assist that wasn't visible, and we ended up doing, well, is this like 3300 combined, something like that? I mean, I guess by numbers it actually wasn't a bad game. And you know, this tank is very capable of some big numbers. Use its mobility, guys. If you're struggling with this tank, you need to use its mobility. You aren't using its mobility effectively if you are having really bad games in this tank. I will say that matchmaking plays a big role. I always say that. And there are games that I've gotten into that are really bad in this tank where you still don't even have enough time to do enough damage and stuff. But if you're consistently having bad games in this tank, you need to use its mobility better. And or you're getting spotted too early and stuff like that. This tank is just as quick as a light tank, so take some shots, assess the map, and get out if you have to, because you can do that in this tank. You can run like no tomorrow. It's very, very, very fast. So get back to a different location and take more shots. Run back to the next location and take more shots. And that's kind of how you can make this thing work. It has no armor, and the gun can even be kind of trollish at times. But in order to kind of with this vehicle, like when you have no armor and you have no turret, you really have to play to its other strengths, is the way I'll put it. And in order to do that, in order to minimize its weaknesses, you have to use its mobility, like every game, all game, right? I can't emphasize this enough, guys. Use its mobility and get the heck out when you can. So team score, 1855 damage. We're up top, 760 experience. Char had a good game. Where's the FV here? He has 2861 damage. Not incredible numbers for the 4005, but again, it's a victory, and we did what we had to do, guys. He did what he had to do. He played a great game. I think I did what I had to do. We played well. The Char came back, and he did what he had to do. And yeah, we were the winning factor here, right? We won this game for the team. And of course, the two or three guys that capped out, they read the map well as well, and they got on cap, and we spread out very well. We had a couple people come back to defend, a couple people to continue the attack and cap out, and sometimes it works like that. Most of the time it doesn't, but when it does work out, it's really, really cool. Some people actually will get into the chat and they'll I'll go back, keep going or whatever. And usually I'd say if you're more than halfway as a heavy, you have to keep going, right? There's no way you can turn around and go back in some of these like super heavies. It just doesn't work, right? You don't have the mobility, so you have to continue your attack, continue the direction you're going. And I don't play a lot of heavies, but I've been there, right? Like where you play in a tank that can only do like 21 kilometers an hour, and you're like, there's no way I'm getting back, so let's keep going. So that's what they did. Detailed report, we made about 100k total. 31k we lost to the heat shells, but honestly, like this thing, with the APCRs, it's good enough that where a lot of times you don't even need the heat, but if you're going to shoot at tier 10s and stuff, just shoot the heat, man. It's like 330 pen, guys. It's ridiculous, and this thing is a premium, so you're not really going to lose that much coin if you have a decent battle at the end, right? Because we shot a few heat shells, and yeah, we still made like 87k. Although I will say I always run personal reserves usually when I'm playing this, and I am running premium, so I guess I can't say that much. But that's it, guys. Kanonen Jagdpanzer. If you're new here, here's how I have this thing set up. Please subscribe, by the way, because I want to say like 85% of the people that watch my videos aren't subbed. It's at least 80% on most videos, man. That's really, really high. That's a lot. So if you're watching, sub. I do a lot of light tank stuff and strategic kind of videos. So I run this thing with the aimer here. I forget what this thing's called. The optics in the scouting slot, and then I run rammer and optical calibration. And my crew, I actually increased the crew on this recently, but I do run like situational awareness, a lot of concealment, and yeah, like the view range is actually decent on this thing. It's not showing here, but I think it's 433, and now I have it set up to, I changed the configuration, right? Because you can go into this and you can change the configuration. I changed it so that instead of getting the concealment after firing, I'm now getting more view range, and I dropped the optical calibration and also selected recon, I believe, for a little bit. It's not full, is what I mean. I think it might be at like 25% or something, but all that combined, it's getting me like over 450 view range now, even just with the optics. So you don't even need to run binocs. And yeah, there's a lot of things this tank has going for it. If you're looking for a flexible tank destroyer, like I said, if you can use this thing's mobility, you're going to be a monster in battle, man. I know I've talked quite a bit during these end plates, guys, but I'm telling you, like, I can make this thing work in most games, so if you can read the map, you will be able to make this thing work as well. I mean, this thing, in my opinion, is OP, honestly. Like, the accuracy is really good. The DPM is, like, average, but this thing just has a lot of good stuff going for it, with the view range and the concealment and the dispersion, the mobility. So, try it out, guys. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not subbed, and I will catch you for the next one. Take care now, guys. Bye-bye.